Hi, I'm Jeff Major from Skyline Adjusters with a Right at Right video on multiple perils and overlapping perils. Specifically, this applies to wind and other things, but this is specifically flood because we're at a flood loss. So this is Helene and Milton. Helene came in and flooded this area and this building, and I think water came up to probably the base, so let's say 4 to 6 inches of water was the Helene claim. Little shortly after, Milton came in, and we have a 40-inch, 30-something, 40-inch water line, and storefronts were blown in, framing was damaged, I think a dumpster floated into the building, and a bunch of other things. So we're writing the flood estimates for 2 commercial claims with the NFIP. So we have 2 policy limits, $500,000 each on the building, and then we have contents. I'm going to address the building, then the contents. So on the building claim, you're going to write what you would have written had there been no Milton claim. And then you're going to write Milton a little bit differently than normal. So in the Helene claim, I would have written to remove it with, let's say, 6 inches of water. I would have written to remove the carpet. I would have prepped and took care of the concrete slab. I would have done the cove molding on the walls, and I would have done a 2-foot flood cut. The walls in this building are textured. Some walls were exterior walls that are now interior. Those are drywall, lath, plaster, then drywall on top of it with a textured, mastic textured finish. So what I would write is, I would write like a normal 6-inch flood claim. I'd take a 2-foot flood cut, but my water was basically 6 inches. So I'm then going to likely float the wall because it's a textured wall, and paint the whole wall. That's in my first claim, okay? So if you're using Xactimate, you're typically using the WTR line item to remove up to 2-foot flood cut. There's one up to 6 inches, but you would use the 2-foot. So if you were writing it, write it the way you would write it had there been no Milton claim, right? So you're not trying to play games and move money around. You're trying to identify claim 1, then what the balance of claim 2 is. So we'll write one estimate, but we'll write both scopes, and we'll use Xactimate coverages to separate the claims. So now I have my 2-foot flood cut, up to 2 foot, remove wet. Now I have, I'm either going to take, let's say I'm going to take a 4-foot flood cut. In this case, these walls got damaged, they're over 4 foot, so on a typical wall over there, I might do a 4 foot, or I might do 5. But what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to write, this is basically a 5-foot wall, I'm not going to write remove flood cut up to 4 feet, because I'm duplicating, and I don't want to duplicate. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my 2-foot line, and then I'm going up to my balance, my height. So in this case, I'm going to take remove wet drywall. I'm going to use the WTR line item to remove wet drywall. If I'm going to do a flood cut, I am going to do a clean line flood cut, but then I would have to deduct the 2-foot number from that if I'm on one of the other walls. Now, when I'm on my second claim, I've already written to paint, and I've already written to texture. So I'm just making sure that in the second claim, I'm putting all of my texturing and my painting. So what I would do is, I would float my 2-foot new drywall that came in. I would not use the linear feet up to 2-foot line item to go back to replace the flood cut, because now I'm a whole wall, or I'm 4 foot. I would use the 4 foot, I would deduct out the 2-foot number, and I'd put that in claim 1 and put the balance in claim 2. Now it's just a drywall job. I'm replacing drywall at 4 feet. I have a video on replacing drywall. When I replace that drywall up to 4 feet, I'm basically then skim coating the wall, which I did from the first claim. On contents, I have this is an office building. They have, I don't know, maybe 70 or 80 people worked out of here. I'm addressing in these cubicles what was on the ground, touching the ground in claim number 1. Keep in mind, NFIP damaged by direct water, so it got wet, right? We're not going to, NFIP is not going to pay for something that's 7 feet up in the air that got warped from humidity. It's water damage. So my filing cabinets, anything that was touching the ground, I'm going to put in my first claim contents-wise. Then the computers, all the things that got wet that were on the built-in cabinetry or on top of the desks, they're all going to go into my second claim. So I have 2 limits on both. I have 2 limits on the building, 2 limits on the flood. The 2 of them may add up to whatever they add up to. They could exceed, and you're going to apply both deductibles, and then you go from there. So that's a write it right on the building, and on contents, write it right also. Write only the things that touch the ground, the things that you would total if you had 6 inches of water. Would you replace the printer or the laptop on top of the desk? No. So it doesn't go in claim number 1. The stuff that was touching the ground, drapes that may have wicked up or something like that, would be in claim number 1. It falls where it falls, but be mindful of where it is and what it is. Thank you.